Tov, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Urim Sameach, Happy Hanukkah. I thought we'd start out with a special song for Hanukkah this Shabbat, because it is our Shabbat in Hanukkah. Ma'otzur. Ma'otzur Yeshua L'chana El Shabeach Tikon Me'tefilati B'sham Toto Yezabeach Le'tachin Motmeach Mitzar Hamnabeach Az and more B'shim Yizmor Hanukkah Amizbeach Az and more B'shim Yizmor Hanukkah Amizbeach Rock of Ages, let our soul praise your saving power. You amid the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Ma'otzur, remember that tune? We're going to use it a bit later when we come to Micha Mocha. So as we begin our service this evening, we're going to begin by lighting the Hanukiah, our Hanukkah menorah. It's my pleasure to invite Emma Weisenbluth to kindle those lights for us and lead us in a blessing. Then we'll do Shabbat, because once we have lit Shabbat candles, we can't light any more.
Please join me.
Happy sixth night of Hanukkah, everyone. And it's my pleasure now to call upon Ruth Ostrower. Ruth is going to lead us in the blessings over the Shabbat candles. One of the readings, page 20 to 21, and the candle blessings on page 23.
We read responsibly on the bottom of page 20. On this day we would see the world in a new light. On this day we would add new spirit to our lives.
On this day we would taste a new time of peace. We would rest from desire from gain, ambition for things.
We would raise our eyes to look beyond time and space toward eternity. Oh, may we come to see the world in a new light.
As it is written, let a new light shine upon Zion, and may it be our blessing to see its splendor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hagid yom shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlikner shel Shabbat. I'm going to incorporate some special readings into tonight's service. The first one is by Rabbi David Evan Marcus, and it's called Leftovers. Even after tonight's lights go out, I still dance to the swaying beat of flickering flames, tiny sparks driving out what darkness cannot. Cheeks still warmer than a few spunky candles ought to be, proof that both matter and soul can change with light speed. Latke oil lingers on the lips, leftovers of salty, savory crunch, an old world recipe to lift joy out of soiled and humble roots. Buried in the earth, dark as the deep, awaiting their moment, their whole purpose in being to make a memory and a smile. And if for spuds, then also for souls buried in deep dark, awaiting their moment, their whole purpose in being to shine. Why wait? When the moon shone, we less noticed the candles, yet there they were each day, one more a bit brighter. And there they were, awaiting not the sun, but the disappearing moon, the year's darkest night, to begin revealing their brightest light. If dark is what brings out your light, then maybe so too all of us give people a way to make light, and we can all become the way. Let's turn together to the words of Lecha Dodi as we welcome Shabbat. You'll find those words on page 29. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'lihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, me'rosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Hitoreri, hivarechu miori, uri shidaberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Hanukkah of Stars by Rabbi Jennifer Singer. The year I had no Hanukiah, no candles, not even a match because I had let the last cigarettes crumble in a drawer. That year I waited through the dark. On the first night I went out into the cold grass and chose the brightest star as the shamus and counted. 1. The next night, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth night there were clouds and I closed my eyes and I remembered the poet's day-blind stars that waited with their light and counted 6. The clouds parted, 7, 8. And on the 9th night I stepped out bare toes in the icy grass and I looked up to see the sky crowded with tiny flames. We turn together to the words of Baruch Hu on page 36 as we rise. Please join with me on the top of page 37. We praise you, eternal our God, whose presence fills creation. Your word brings on the evening twilight. You open the gates of dawn with wisdom, and with foresight you make times pass and seasons change. Open access. You make the day fade away and bring on the night, separating day and night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, eternal one, who brings on the evening twilight. Page 38. my father's menorah. When I was small, Hanukkah was small too, except for the sawhorse menorah that my dad made, 9 huge light bulbs screwed into the wood somehow, cords hidden behind, standing proudly, embarrassingly on our front lawn. We were the only Jews in the suburban neighborhood. I walked the few blocks to school where my teacher insisted I decorate a Hanukkah bush to stand beside the Christmas tree. I got an F on my naked tree, but my dad gave me an A and hot chocolate. I stood proudly beside him in his no longer embarrassing menorah, 8 nights in a row, reliving my rebellion, reveling in his love. We rise for the words of Shema and Ve'ahavta, page 40. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher Anochi mitzavcha ayom alevecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha והיו תותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Please be seated if you're standing. Taste by Rabbi Dara Lithwick. There was once a war in our house. We had guests over one Hanukkah night. Fun, a latke tasting gathering, homemade, well, mostly. Potato ones and zucchini ones and sweet potato ones, even broccoli ones. Splendid oily diversity, but traditional too. It was all going so well until we brought out the dips. Debate erupted. On one side, sour cream, on the other, applesauce. There was no room for ketchup or hot sauce. Not even worthy of discussion. Dinner was heading off the rails. Quiet. My children looked at us and yelled, "Just eat already." Stunned, the guests stopped and looked down and grabbed food and dove in, and all was forgiven. Page 44. On this festival of redemption, we sing words of redemption. Ma'utzur, the Shabbat. Mami chamocha, va'elim Adonai, mi chamocha, nedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot, oseh feleh, norah tehilot, oseh feleh, norah tehilot, oseh feleh, malchutcha, Ra'uvanecha, Ukeyayam livnei Moshe, Ze'li anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Prayer and Praise of the Dark by Trisha Arlene. Light candles that one does, but consider this. Over many millions of years, organisms evolved to thrive in the dark. Eyes big and reflective, taking in the main chance, mysterious only to those who slept while they flourished. Under the stars and the waning moon. Away from galumphing day hunters, safe in their night. For many thousands of years, humans slept during the dark and rose in the light. And if we didn't feel safe at night, we sat together in circles under the stars and told stories of gods and miracles, of warriors and kings, of love and children, and that mastodon that we had for dinner. But for the last 100 years or so, if we were lucky, we've lived in bright rooms, safe behind doors at night, unable to see past the street lights to the stars. Instead of circles, we sit in bubbles, and the stories come from the outside, sometimes helping us laugh and cry, sometimes provoking pain and shared resentment, each in our own well-lit isolation. Tonight, perhaps, don't be in such a rush to set up candles against the dark. Turn off your backyard lamp so you can see the constellations. Listen and let the night animals breathe. Listen to the frightening ambient sounds that don't explain themselves to you, and then tell your own stories to each other of miracles and myths and what you had for dinner. And praise the darkness, praise the light, and praise it all. So as we ask God to watch over us at night, we look to the lights of the menorah, the Hanukiah, and we also praise the darkness. Page 45. Ashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Amidah shomreinu lechayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Amidah shomreinu lechayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Amidah shomreinu lechayim. Windows, Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt. Once I compared daily prayer to a chat window open with God all the time. That was before. Now the chat windows where I text, the Zoom windows where we meet are as fervent as prayer. The digital windows open between my home, my heart, and yours, and link us together, apart like lovers with hands pressed to far sides of thick glass. Hanukkah candles go in the window to shine light into the world and to proclaim the miracle, even in dark times. We've all seen the old photo, Hanukiah burning small and defiant in the foreground, and on the building across the street, the swastika's hideous slash. I put my lights each night in my window, tiny candles visible to anyone driving through the condo complex. It's not brave like the rabbi in Kiel in 1932, though more people hate us today than I used to imagine. Still, these little lights declare that hatred will not destroy us. Let's be real. No one walks past my window in the small town night. So I post a photo too on Facebook, scattering holy sparks through every browser window, proclaiming the miracle that we're still here, that the light of our fierce hope still shines. Together we rise for the words of the Amidah on page 50. Adonai sefatoi tiftach ufi adi tzivatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'lo avotinu v'imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Sarah Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Rivka Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Havot V'Imot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh kol atah, Rav-Hoshia. Mechalkel chayim v'chesed, Mechayeh hakol b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim, v'rofech olim. Umatir asurim, umkayim natov, mishnei afar, michamocha b'hagvurot, umido melech, melech mitum chayei, umatmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah v'chayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, v'chayei. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like the softness of moonlight, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh, blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. On Sparks and Stars, Candles and Connection, Rabbi Dara Lithwick. Hanukkah dedication. 8 nights of 36 lights as the wind howls through naked trees bereft of leaves, waiting for the cover glow of snow. If we're lucky, the stars glitter and flicker above, an invitation to balance above and below. What are we dedicating ourselves to? Winter months in the northern hemisphere mean cold days with long shadows as the sun stays tucked in the horizon. We're all covered up in our toques and parkas, protected and shielded from the elements, but also from each other. It takes dedication to stay connected. Last month, when Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Mary May Simon, rededicated those who serve as members of the Queen's Privy Council at her residence, and a new Quillic was lit, a tradition from home, representing light and warmth of family and community. It takes dedication to lead. There's something about candlelight, the warm reds and oranges and yellows, the flickering dancing heat spark gathering us together around its glow. It takes dedication to keep the past, present, and future. Hanukkah, an invitation to connection to the holy sparks inside and out, above and below and all around, especially in winter's cold shadows. This Hanukkah, may we dedicate ourselves to connection under all our layers, to the God spark within, to candles lit from the same shamas, warmth begetting warmth, love begetting love. And on this Shabbat and Hanukkah, we turn to the words of Al-Hanisim for the miracles, page 60. Please join me. Al-Hanisim ve'al ha'purkan ve'al ha'gvurot ve'al ha'tshuot ve'al ha'nechamot she'asita l'dorotenu bayamim ha'hem bazman hazeh. In days of old, at this season, you saved our people by wonders, reassurances, and acts of mercy. In the days of Mattathias the Hasmonean, the Hellenic Empire sought to destroy our people Israel by making them forget their Torah and by forcing them to abandon their ancient way of life. Through the power of your Spirit, the weak defeated the strong, the few prevailed over the many, and the righteous were victorious. Then your children returned to your house to purify the sanctuary and to kindle its lights, and they dedicated these days to give thanks and praise to your majestic glory. As we move towards the end of the Amidah, we pray the words of Shalom Rav, asking God to send great peace to us. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Bi'atam Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom take a few moments for the prayers of our own hearts. Page 66. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us, on all Israel, and all the world. Oh, say shalom, bimromo, uya say shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Shalom, Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, Amen. Oh, say shalom, bimromo, say shalom, Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Well, as it is Hanukkah, we have to have a Hanukkah story. This Hanukkah story is about the magic dreidels. It's by Eric Kimmel. Hanukkah was coming, and everybody in Jacob's family was working hard to clean and scrub and polish and sweep to get ready. That is, everybody except for Jacob. He was only ready to stop playing with his new brass dreidel when his mother sent him to the well to fetch a bucket of water. But Jacob, on his way, took the dreidel with him. And after filling the bucket, he decided to give his new dreidel a spin. He spun it, and it spun across the mossy stones and plopped down, down, down into the well. "Oh no, I've lost my new brass dreidel," Jacob cried. He thought, maybe I can get it back. He started dropping rocks into the water, plop, 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 hoping that maybe his brass dreidel would rise to the surface. But instead, the goblin that lived at the bottom of the well, well, he was a peaceful goblin. He didn't bother people. But suddenly that goblin felt rocks falling on his head, and he rushed to the surface. "Who is dropping rocks?" he shouted, "in my well?" "I didn't mean to drop rocks on you," said Jacob. "I just want my new brass dreidel back." Said the goblin. "All right, I will find your dreidel." And he dove under the water, and soon he reappeared at the surface carrying a dreidel, but it was not Jacob's dreidel. It was made out of wood. "I can't find your dreidel," said the goblin. "Take this one. It's magic. It spins out latkes," said the goblin. Well, Jacob ran home as quick as he could to show everyone his magic dreidel, but along the way he passed the house of Frumasera, the neighborhood busybody. "Why are you running so fast?" said Jacob, "and what are you holding?" "I have a new dreidel," said Jacob. "It spins out latkes. I have to get home to show everybody." And with that, he spun the magic dreidel, and out magically came latkes, steaming hot and drenched with applesauce and sour cream. Oh, said Sarah, Jacob, look how muddy that dreidel is. You must have dropped it. Let me clean it for you. Sarah took the magic dreidel inside her house, and in a few minutes she came back with an ordinary wooden dreidel that she gave to Jacob. Well, Jacob took the ordinary dreidel home. And when he got there, his mother said, "Thank goodness, Jacob, where have you been? We've been waiting. Where is the bucket of water that I sent you to bring?" "Oh, Mom," said Jacob, "this is more important than a bucket of water. I dropped my new brass dreidel in the well, but the goblin who lives at the bottom, he gave me another one. And this one, Mom, it spins latkes with applesauce and sour cream." Jacob's mother looked at him and shook her head. She didn't believe him. "Watch, I'll show you," said Jacob, and he took the dreidel and he spun it, and nothing happened. "Just as I thought, Jacob," said his mother. "Now go back to the well and stop wasting my time with your foolishness." So Jacob went back to the well. He stood at the top of the well and he called out, "Goblin, goblin." The goblin came rushing up. "What is the matter?" said the goblin. "I already gave you a dreidel." "I want my brass dreidel back," said Jacob. "The one you gave me was not good. I don't have your old dreidel," said the goblin, "but I'll give you this one." The goblin gave Jacob a silver dreidel and said, "This dreidel is also magic. It will spin for you Hanukkah gelt." Jacob ran home with the silver dreidel, and on the way again he passed Sarah's house, and she said, "Hey, Jacob, did you find another dreidel?" "Yep, I did," said Jacob, "and this one, it spins coins. It spins Hanukkah gelt. Watch." Jacob took the silver dreidel and he spun it as fast as he could, and out came silver coins out of the silver dreidel. "Oh," said Sarah, "well, but Jacob, look how tarnished your dreidel is. Let me polish it for you." She took the magic dreidel inside and she exchanged it for an ordinary one. Jacob took the ordinary dreidel and ran home. "Look, everybody," he said, "my dreidel can spin Hanukkah gelt." Jacob's family gathered around to see, and he spun the dreidel fast and he spun it slow, but not even a penny came out of it. "Jacob, this is no time for foolishness," said his father. "You should be ashamed of yourself. Can't you see how hard everyone is working, getting ready for the Hanukkah dinner? Yet here you are spending your time playing tricks and getting in the way." And he sent Jacob directly to his room. Poor Jacob. Nobody believed him. He had to prove he was telling the truth, and when no one was looking, he climbed out the window and he ran as fast as he could back to the well. "Goblin, goblin, come out," he shouted. The goblin came rushing up again and said, "What do you want, Jacob?" "I want my good brass dreidel," said Jacob, "the silver one. That one you gave me, it didn't work either." "My dreidels work," said the goblin. "Your problem is that Sarah stole them, and she gave you ordinary dreidels in their place." "Oh," said Jacob, "so that's what happened. Goblin, you have to help me get my dreidels back, and then I'll leave you alone. I won't bother you anymore." So again, the goblin dove to the bottom of the well and came up a few minutes later with a very heavy iron dreidel. "Now," said the goblin to Jacob, "let Sarah spin this one, and she'll give you back the one she stole." Jacob took the very heavy iron dreidel, and on the way back home, he went and stopped directly at Sarah's house. "I have another dreidel," he said. "What does it do?" asked Sarah. "Come, try it," said Jacob. "You'll see." Sarah gave the dreidel a spin, and as it spun, out came lots and lots of fleas, thousands of them. They hopped onto Sarah and began biting her. She scratched and she itched. I'll give me back your dreidels that I stole," she said. "Jacob, just help stop the fleas from biting me." From Sarah returned the 2 dreidels that she had hidden in her apron, and then magically, the fleas hopped away. So Jacob took the magic dreidels. He ran back to the well. He threw the iron dreidel in, and he shouted, "Thank you, goblin, for helping me. I'll keep the first 2 that you gave me. You can have this iron one back. I don't want fleas." And he turned around, and he ran as fast as he could all the way home. Jacob decided he shouldn't mention the magic dreidels again until the Hanukkah candles were lit. And then, after everyone was gathered around the lights, he took out his 2 magic dreidels and he spun them one after the other. And the first dreidel spun out potato latkes, and Jacob and his family ate the steaming hot latkes with apples and sour cream until their stomachs were full. And then he spun out the latke gelt, and they stuffed their pockets with the silver coins and invited everyone in the neighborhood to share. And everyone had a happy Hanukkah that night, even from Sarah. So that's the story of the magic dreidels, and if you ever find them, you know what to do. Please join me on page 135 as we rise for the prayer for the state of Israel. Sur Yisrael v'goalo, barech na et medinat Yisrael hagshamat tikvatenu. Rock and Redeemer of Israel, place your blessing upon the state of Israel, the realization of our hope for a Jewish homeland. Send your light and your truth to all its inhabitants. Spread over them the shelter of your peace. Bestow insight upon its leaders, judges, and representatives, that they may pursue justice, freedom, and integrity. Plant the love of Zion into wherever we dwell. Plant the love of Zion into our hearts, that our footsteps may race to walk upon its soil. And may the vision of your prophet Isaiah soon be fulfilled. For Torah shall come forth from Zion, and God's word from Jerusalem. And let us say, Amen. And we remain standing for the words of Arlene, page 149. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gdula liotzer b'reshit, asher samcha kenu yached et shemo, v'gol aleinu lehamlich malchuto, v'anachnu kolim, u'mishtachim u'madim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshav v'karo b'shamayim imo, u'shrinatu zo, v'govei me'omim, u'Eloheinu einon, emet malkeinu le'esulato, Kamato b'Torato, v'yadatayim v'shrota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, ve'aretz mitachat e'on. V'ne'emor v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu yiheh Adonai echad, u'shmo u'shemo echad. The light of you from a far star years away, I swear it's now. But no, it was a light from long ago. And now my light from this star here, our sun, will travel far to meet your eyes. To you it will be now and years to come. You'll swear when I say that I recall, and you say, now I see. This I've learned. My past is your tomorrow, as yours is my today. What was so long ago to you, to me is now. And so I say, now I see. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those of our friends and neighbors, and all those people whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall the names of two for whom we are in Shloshim this week. Yvonne Dixon, the sister of Shirley and sister-in-law of Gavin Herman, and David Friedman, the brother of Harvey and the brother-in-law of Marlene Friedman, brother of Doreen and brother-in-law of Jacob, Kojocharo, and devoted uncle. We recall as well the names of the following, whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death occurs this week: Alan Gersh, the uncle of Doreen Levine; Flora Bartikoff, the grandmother of Cheryl Englander and Rabbi Lawrence Englander; Louis Skolko, the father of Marian Frankel; Sonia Feynman, the wife of Barry, the mother of Simon and Daniel, and the grandmother of Aaron, Joshua, Taylor, and Mackenzie; Albert Marlowe, the father of John; Marjorie Hines, the mother of Yolanda Smith; Rivka Yakar, the mother-in-law of Yvonne Ben Ruby; Sadie Morgan, the sister of Marilyn Block; Dorothy Adler, the aunt of Brian Laskin; Patricia Miller, the mother-in-law of Judy, and the grandmother of Debbie Skarnicki; Philip Kadeski, the father of Debbie Berkovich; Joseph Bass, the father of Brad and the grandfather of Natan; Doris Idelson, the mother of Ivan; Ethel Goldberg, the mother of Philip and the grandmother of Alina and Michelle; and Jennifer Cheraki, the cousin of Albert Amar. I invite you to share aloud at this time names of those for whom you are praying the words of Kaddish on this Shabbat. As we ask those who are mourning to please rise first. And we say to Min HaMakom Tinachamu, may you find comfort in God's sheltering presence. Now as a community, we all rise to support those who are mourning and to say Kaddish for those who have no one to say it for them. As we turn to the words hallowed by the generations, the words of the Kaddish prayer on page 159. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kar'i ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Trushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol b'nei adam, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, among all Israel, and among all the nations and families of earth. And let us say together, Amen. Amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure at this time to call upon Rita Halpern-Grossman, representing our board, for greetings and announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'd like to thank our shamas tonight, David Grossman. Our upcoming service tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is a regular Shabbat service. Next Friday at 8 p.m., an Erev Shabbat service. And on Saturday, December 11th at 10 a.m., a regular Shabbat service. There are still some Hanukkah supplies for sale in case you need something for the last two nights. We've got everything that you'll need. I hope everybody here has signed up for what looks to be like a wonderful Hanukkah and Havdalah tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. And remember to dress warmly because it will be cold. So I hope to see you all there. Arlene's book club, there are two get-togethers, one on December 13th, the Book of Lost Names, and on January 24th, The Weight of Ink, and these books will be reviewed by Arlene. A lunch and learn Tuesday, December 7th at 11:30 a.m., discussing the trial of Leo Frank with Dr. Sylvia Solomon. And on Sundays at 10:30, Rabbi Pollack's adult text study continues. And it's a short list tonight. So I hope everybody is enjoying their latkes. Happy Hanukkah, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rita. And now it's my pleasure to call David Grossman, who's going to lead us in Kiddush for Shabbat. Please rise and join with him.
Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, Yom HaShishi. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God had ended the work of creation and rested with all work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, for with this day God had completed the work of creation. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav Shabbat kodsho, be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta,
with another song for Hanukkah, O Hanukkah, O Hanukkah, come light the menorah, or in Yiddish, Oy Hanukkah, O Hanukkah, Ayon Tov Hashener. O Hanukkah, come light the menorah, let's have a party, we'll all dance Tahora, gather around the table, we'll give you a treat, so if you want to play with Levi or to eat. I've got it in front of me, so I'm going to sing that. Oy Hanukkah, Yom Tov Hashener, Alustacher Afrelechem Minoch No Azoiner, Alle Nachten Dreidlach, Schmieren hier, zu der Kaiser Latkes, das Sonnenschein, verschwinde, sind Kinder, wir Winkel Lichter lechon, Zocht Al-Hanisim, Lord Gott vor dem Nisim, tanzen en kon. Zoch Al-Hanisim, Lord Gott vor dem Nisim, kommt wir tanzen en kon. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah, let's have a party, we'll all dance the horror, gather around the table, we'll give you a treat, so if you want to play with Levi or to eat, and while we Shabbat Shalom, Chag Hanukkah Sameach. We wish you a joyous day of celebration, joy and peace of Shabbat, and happy 7th and 8th nights of Hanukkah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.